All right, everyone, there was a brief bit of confusion yesterday when you probably have seen it maybe if you check your email. I know even email is almost vestigial at this point in favor of messaging services. YouTube sends out an email saying basically, and a thing on your Creator Studio if you ever check that. If you don't create videos, probably less than most. It's getting rid of its private messaging feature. Now, at first, the email itself says we're getting rid of it entirely, but if you actually followed the link within the context of the email, it was confusing because at the top it says they're getting rid of it, and then, you can still do business inquiry, email setup, as long as, by the way, you don't have any restricted content, which, like, for any major creator, you have restricted content, trust me. Therefore, if you got one limited state video or one community guideline strike active or anything, you can't even use the business inquiry feature, I guess. They've changed that too. So basically, they're deplatforming the ability for larger creators to communicate with their audiences at all except through comments. That's what that boils down to. If ReviewBra can get a video put into a restricted state, so can I, so can everybody else on YouTube. So basically bye-bye to talking to your audience unless it's in the public forum of one of your videos or the discussion page that nobody uses anymore on their main creators page, the main channel itself. But YouTube then, underneath this, retained, I guess, the original content of the article prior, which was, you can navigate to the About tab, you press send message and stuff. So it made it confusing because it looked like maybe they were retaining it and they were just removing it off the dashboard and it was going somewhere else or something. But I'm not surprised that YouTube is doing this. My response is twofold. First, I don't really care. The number of people, I've messaged people before and they never respond because they don't even know there is a messaging feature. A lot of people, when I first tweeted about this yesterday, they're like, oh, YouTube has a messaging feature? What? This is news to me. That's because years and years ago, and I think I spoke about this at the time, years ago they changed the layout. Originally there was a button on your channel and you pressed it and it would send messages. Like you could go to someone's channel and just press that and you could send them a message right on that page. You didn't need to navigate anywhere. YouTube, when it changed the channel layout the most recent time, it removed that functionality and subjugated that to the About tab, which meant that new users who, they're not seeing a button to send people messages on the channel, unless they navigated manually to the About tab on a channel, they never saw that option, and for certain new accounts, they don't even have that option. So when YouTube comes out and says, well, nobody uses the feature, so we're just going to get rid of it. Yeah, I believe that because of the way you designed the feature. Initially, it was very evident, hey, this is how you send a message to someone. It was elementary. It was a one-click and then type it in sort of process. You turned it into a three-step program, a little bit more complex, and you buried it in the Creator Studio where if someone's not creating content, they don't know it exists. They never use it. There's no reason to use it. And by the way, the business inquiry email thing is only available on desktop anyway. More and more people use their mobile device for YouTube as well as everything else. Now, I'm part of I'm going to stubbornly stick with my laptop generation because I need that power. I need this style of setup in order to make my content. It's what I'm comfortable making my content on. I can do like the selfie style vertical video bullshit. I don't like it. I like this kind of video. But that's the first response. I believe YouTube, and also, second to that, it's not going to break the site. Some people are worried, another change to YouTube. No, there are many changes YouTube has made over the last couple of years that are significant and negative, like allowing NGOs to harass people on the site at a whim, like accidentally hiring staff and deploying them before they were fully ready to be deployed, and going on a banning spree and then having to reinstate thousands of major channels. Like starting to buck up on your anti-drug policy, thus pissing off one of the furthest left segments of YouTube, which is the pot community. The cannabis oil and vaping people. They're all pissed off at YouTube. What about the LGBT community that thinks that they get demonetized for talking about transgenderism? And by the way, I think they're right. Because people have done tests on video titles where the same video is uploaded to it has nothing to do with the video's content. It only has to do with the title. All else equal, it will be partially demonetized if transgenderism or certain other terms are included in the title or description. That's just a fact. Your algorithm is provably targeting these things. YouTube still denies it fervently, but I don't believe them. As far as the messaging feature goes, though, this is like the least bad thing YouTube has done. It is basically useless. I mean, it's useless for me because nobody knows about it. The handful of people I have communicated with, it's like, well, you can communicate on Twitter, you can use Skype, or some people use Discord, which I think is basically non-functional. You know, you can use email, whatever. You know, you can call people on the phone. It's a novel idea. Not that you can call me because I don't really have a phone, because I fucking hate cell phones. YouTube, though, confused me at first because it wasn't immediately evident if you bothered to follow the link whether they meant that they were fully getting rid of the system or just hiding it further. Like, for a while, I can't remember. It was the last time that they did a stylistic change to YouTube. There was a certain thing that you could do in order to get the old design back, and it lasted for months, and I actually stubbornly stuck. I think this was with the Cosmic Panda bullshit. And there was actually a way to revert it using a certain URL. And it was very funny because YouTube didn't advertise this fact, but YouTubers were talking about it, and then they finally closed that loophole when they got rid of Cosmic Panda. Like, they totally re-overhauled it so it wasn't really Cosmic Panda anymore because nobody liked it. Like, it almost destroyed YouTube. The biggest mistake YouTube ever made was Cosmic Panda. It was such a big mistake. You probably don't remember this. I think it was 2010 or something. It's a long time ago. When they rolled it out, it was so unpopular that they immediately issued a release saying, "Oh, this isn't meant to be permanent. We're doing some, real-world testing. It's involuntary. We decided to deploy it site-wide, and we talked about how great it was before, but don't worry, we're gonna tweak it. It's not a permanent design feature." And so now you have the YouTube you have today, thankfully. By the way, it is much more functional in the technological sense than it was. But YouTube is basically, you'd think it would boil down to money or something. The messaging is minuscule in cost compared to hosting, storing, and sending out video to potentially millions of people. PewDiePie uploads a 1080 video. How much money do you think it costs YouTube to serve that out to the 5-10 million people that are going to watch it? That's a lot of moolah. As far as the messaging service, how much do you think it costs to maintain a message thread? So they're actually deleting it entirely. Like, the messages won't even be there backed up. I remember when the old messaging feature was done away with. On the old one, you could delete messages and stuff. One of the biggest design flaws of the messaging feature isn't even how you navigate to it or the fact that nobody knows it exists. It's the fact that you can't fucking delete messages. So you have a long thread out of necessity. It bogs down the loading of the page. You press next because you're going to the next messages. You're trying to refer to something. You're finding an older conversation. Good fucking luck having that load within 10 minutes. It can become an extreme problem, a real drag. And we're talking on computers that are nice and fast, on decent connections. It's still a massive hassle. So yeah, I don't really care if the messaging feature goes away. For people who have been messaging me, you can always do that on Twitter. Like, I've got my messages open. I may not actually, I'll see your message. I may not press accept. Maybe I'm not feeling like, having a conversation. I just won't press accept, basically. Not have it on there. I might deny the conversation. But don't worry, if you're trying to, tip me off to a breaking news story or something, I'll see your message at the very least. And for a handful of people, they can email me. I don't really give out my email for the most part. I just don't do that because it's that's more for business purposes. I don't want just anybody to be able to email me because that would become a hassle too. I've got it set up so a lot of stuff goes to spam anyway to try to keep things clean, because in the past, before that's set up, it's like, oh yeah, I got 10,000 emails today, mostly updates on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Oh, that might be a little bit of a problem sorting through this. So, you have to tweak things a little bit. But no, this isn't particularly bad. I'm much more worried about, purging people, purging drug channels and gun channels and every other niche channel. The SPLC having any involvement in YouTube, I think, is a bad idea. Staffers that appear to have difficulty determining what should be in restricted state, a la Review Bra, report of the week. Yes, this chicken review needs to go in restricted state. Manual review, oh, it's still restricted. Somebody thought that eating chicken was inappropriate enough to put it to an 18+ setting. Keep that in mind as you wonder why YouTube is having a few problems. Again, when we criticize YouTube, it's not because we hate it, it's because we enjoy using it and want it to remain a stable and good platform. When they make stupid mistakes, that's not good for it. As far as messaging, though, it's not a stupid mistake. It's more like, hey, you designed it purposely to hide it. It's obvious, at the time it was obvious that YouTube intended to eventually get rid of it anyway. I think I predicted that back when it happened. I'm like, oh, it's only a matter of time because nobody's going to use it now. And eventually they're going to say, well, fuck it entirely. There's no reason to have a messaging feature. That's about all. Peace out.